Hey there! We hope you're ready for the latest news on TV, film, music, and more because we've got a great show for you. This time around, we've got a recap of the 2014 Grammy Awards by Romelle Taday, Aidan Hall sharing his most anticipated films of the new year, and an in-depth look at the dreamily talented Benedict Cumberbatch from Lydia Lucas, and much, much more.
So don't adjust your set, because from the campus of Ball State University, the real deal starts now.
Hello and welcome to The Real Deal, Ball State's one and only entertainment news show. I'm Kaylee Russell.
And I'm Connor Fack. It may seem endlessly cold here in Indiana, but things are still blazing away in the entertainment capitals of the world. With at least one hot scoop, here's Brad Morrison with this week's Hollywood headlines. Brad?
Once again, this has been another exciting week in Hollywood, from music to movies to Brazil. FIFA and Sony Music Entertainment today announced that We Are One, Ole Ola, by global superstar Pitbull, featuring Jennifer Lopez and Brazilian artist Claudia Layet, has been chosen as the official song of the upcoming 2014 FIFA World Cup in Brazil. The song will be performed by Pitbull together with Jennifer Lopez and Claudia Layet at the FIFA World Cup opening ceremony on June 12th at the Arena de São Paulo. The FIFA World Cup is an extremely esteemed and coveted game by soccer fans around the world, and the song is even sometimes bigger. The official song for 2010 FIFA World Cup in South Africa was Waka Waka, This Time for Africa by Shakira, and is still the 5th most watched video on YouTube history with over 600 million views. It is still the fastest selling and biggest selling World Cup single of the digital age, according to FIFA. We Are One has some big shoes to fill when it comes to topping Shakira's #1 hit. Next, with Valentine's Day just around the corner, I'm sure that the ladies and some gentlemen are catching up on their romance novels, specifically a book about Mr. Grey. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, the official movie poster for 50 Shades of Grey has been released. The soon sure-to-be famous backside of the one and only Christian Grey from Universal Pictures' upcoming film adaptation of the smash best-selling novel 50 Shades of Grey by E.L. James was released on January 25th. The kinky, domineering billionaire Grey will be played by the Irish Jamie Dornan. The poster here conveying Grey's master of the universe image as he stands overlooking the entire Seattle skyline. The campaign kicks off the countdown to the film's opening on Valentine's Day weekend 2015. The image is a sleek, provocative start for what will be a long marketing campaign. And though you don't see his face, Dornan certainly wears that suit well. So it may be another year until we finally get to see Mr. Grey, but until then, gentlemen, take note. And finally, in television news, audiences should be getting ready for much more psychological horror and new episodes of The Walking Dead, according to series star Andrew Lincoln, who plays Rick Grimes on the show. The new episodes pick up with the characters scattered, many of them on their own and trying to reconnect with their friends. The mid-season finale saw their home, the prison, destroyed. Now they're back on the run, out in the big bad zombie apocalypse world with no fences and barbed wire to protect them. Greg Nicotero, an executive producer and the guru behind the zombies on the show, advises viewers to be ready for really personal moments between our characters. Look for Maggie, Lauren Cohen, to be dealing with her grief through anger and aggression. Rick, Lincoln, to be more protective of Carl, Chandler Riggs, and Michonne, Denai Guerrera, try to find peace. And that's your Hollywood headlines. I'm Brad Morrison.
Thanks, Brad. I know I'm looking forward to The Walking Dead as always.
It's always news with you, huh?
You bet.
Of course, the biggest media event of the past week deserves a spotlight of its own. With that, here's Romelle Taday with her report on the 56th Annual Grammy Awards. Tell us about it, Romelle.
Daft Punk, Macklemore, and Ryan Lewis and Lorde took home a majority of the awards at the 56th Annual Grammy Awards this past Sunday night, capping an award show that featured incredible performances from the likes of top winners, interesting collaborations, and the joyous reunion of Sir Paul McCartney and Ringo Starr. No single artist dominated the show like many artists have done in the past, but numerous acts nabbed many of the most anticipated awards of the year. Daft Punk, with the help of Pharrell Williams and Niles Rodger, won 5 awards including Album of the Year, Record of the Year, and Best Pop Duo or Group Performance for the single Get Lucky. Reaching top 10 in the music charts of over 32 countries, the disco funk tune has sold more than 7.3 million copies as of September last year, receiving acclaim from critics and has spawned numerous cover versions and parodies. Macklemore, or Macklemore, depending on your mood, and Ryan Lewis took home 4 trophies, which included Best New Artist and 3 of the 4 awards presented in the rap category. Coincidentally, the same nods offered to snubbed contender Kendrick Lamar. "You got robbed. I wanted you to win," Macklemore wrote in a text and posted to Instagram Sunday night. "You should have. It's weird and it sucks that I robbed you." Weird indeed, Macklemore. Weird indeed. And 17-year-old New Zealander Lorde also won a pair of awards, one for her writing with her producer Joe Little for her hit single Royals for the Song of the Year, and another for Best Pop Solo Performance. Other winners for the show's majorly televised awards included Bruno Mars's Unorthodox Jukebox for Best Pop Vocal Album, the ultimate collab of Dave Grohl, Paul McCartney, Chris Novoselic, and Pat Smear for Best Rock Song with Cut Me Some Slack, and Best Rap or Sung Collaboration going to Jay-Z and Justin Timberlake for Holy Grail. But despite all the great wins and snubs from the night, nothing was more satisfying and entertaining than the 18 performances that created much buzz over the Twitterverse. From comparisons to a Wet Dog, Smokey the Bear, or even Bellatrix Lestrange, many people had to say much of the quips and quirks of the show's performers. Highlighted performances included the at first skeptical collaboration of Imagine Dragons and Kendrick Lamar turned mind-blowing remix, the 33 officiated marriages made by Queen Latifah during a performance of Same Love by Macklemore, Ryan Lewis, and guest appearance of Madonna, and don't forget the steamy show opener of Drunken Love by power couple Queen Bee and Hova.
Thanks for the report, Romelle. I sure wish I could have been there.
Me too. It was definitely a night of music greats.
Hey, have no fear though, we've got more great things coming up in The Real Deal, including Nick Ewing polling the people in the streets, a trailer watch from Ryan Miller, and Lydia Lucas fan gushing on her favorite actor. It's all after this.
Will you believe it? Oh my God.
Come on, buddy, faster! No! No! Hang in there, guys!
You can actually pull this off.
Ah! Look what I found! Isn't it great? Let's go!
Hey, Shirley! What'd you have for breakfast?
The nut job. You don't go home.
Shot me. Or else I broke. Can you fight?
I can fight. I can fight.
Damn video game! No!
It's probably still drivable though because it happened in the back. You can't drive it now.
Welcome back. Our recap of the Grammys is just another reminder that award season is in full swing.
And it all leads up to the biggest ceremony of all, the Oscars. While they're still over a month away, the nominees have already been announced, and even though there are some frontrunners in polls, it's still anybody's game.
So, with a look at what you predict about the upcoming Academy Awards, field correspondent Nick Ewing took to the streets of Ball State to find some real deal opinions. Let's take a look.
I went to the streets of Ball State to hear your opinions on this year's Oscars. When it's -10 out though, it's hard to find people willing to stop and chat, so I took my search indoors to figure out who you guys thought would take home the prize this year.
So I think her should win. That's one of my favorite ones that I've seen out of there. I mean, a lot of people are talking about American Hustle and Wolf of Wall Street. I haven't got a chance to see Wolf of Wall Street. I saw American Hustle and hated it. So I'm really pulling for her to win.
Well, if this was a perfect world, Wolf of Wall Street would be winning Best Picture, but I'm a realist. I know it's going to be 12 Years a Slave. Don't get me wrong, 12 Years a Slave is a great picture. I mean, as soon as I walked out of the theater, I was like, that's going to win Best Picture. I mean, come on. But I would like Wolf of Wall Street. I would like Leo to finally win for one time. I mean,
Leo deserves to get his Oscar.
He deserves an Oscar. They just need to give him an honorary one.
I think Alfonso Cuarón's going to win Best Director. I think he's been sweeping the awards, the Golden Globe. He just won the DGA. And just what he did with Gravity really was a groundbreaking film, visually, viscerally, and any experience that the director has control over.
Star Trek Into Darkness was definitely my favorite movie this year, but I don't believe it was nominated for an Oscar, which sucks.
That's too bad.
Best Supporting Actress, I definitely think Jennifer Lawrence should win it for the Oscars this year.
Think she did a good job in American Hustle?
Oh, she does an amazing job. Any movie she's in, she's a wonderful actress. I love Jennifer Lawrence.
I'm not really sure. I just know I hope it's not American Hustle because I thought that movie was horrible.
You're not the first person that said that.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, Dr. Mike, what's your opinion on this year's Oscars?
I always hate the Oscars. I think it's just a big let me start over. I don't like the Oscars that much. I think it's a big 4-hour commercial for Hollywood, and but it's an interesting phenomenon with a huge global audience. This year, I think if I was a voter for Best Picture of the Year, I'd go with the slavery picture, 12 Years a Slave.
12 Years a Slave. That was a great movie.
I'd go with that one. Or I might go with The American Hustle. That was also a very interesting movie. I'm actually kind of disappointed at the crop of movies this year compared to some previous years, but that's just my opinion.
Yes, it is, Dr. Mike. We'll see if his prediction and the rest of yours is right during the big night on March 2nd. I'm Nick Ewing. Back to you guys.
Thanks for getting out of the studio, even in this cold weather, Nick. Do you agree with any of their predictions, Connor?
Tough to say. Really, I'm just excited that Ellen DeGeneres is hosting. She's a lot of fun.
That she is. Speaking of fun and exciting, there are certainly a lot of movies just beginning to show up on our radars.
True. We had our man, Ryan Miller, sift through thousands of upcoming movie trailers to find the ones he just had to share with you.
Thousands?
It's called hyperbole, Kaylee. Either way, these pics sure are neat. Ryan?
There are a lot of exciting and captivating new film trailers out there following the new year. And the first I'd like to talk about is for The Bagman. The Bagman stars John Cusack as a man working for a criminal mastermind. Played by Robert De Niro, sent to pick up a mysterious bag at a seedy motel in the middle of nowhere, after killing several other criminals, picking up a prostitute who becomes his partner, and actually blowing up the motel, he must then try to escape from the local law enforcement and try to give this mysterious bag back to De Niro in one piece. So basically, it's a movie with De Niro as a crime lord and John Cusack as the underdog vigilante that everyone roots for in the end to escape from the law, and maybe even De Niro himself. I think this looks like it's going to be an entertaining movie. I know that Cusack has had some hit and miss performances before over the years, but I think he'll pull it through for us in this movie. I say if you have the time and the money, go see this flick when it comes out February 28th. The second trailer that I viewed over this weekend was that from the mind of Wes Anderson. The Grand Budapest Hotel, although sounds deep in meaning, is actually going to be another wily comedy such as Fantastic Mr. Fox and Moonrise Kingdom. This new film follows the adventures of Gustav, a legendary concierge at the famous European hotel in the 20s, and Zero Mustafa, the lobby boy who becomes his most trusted friend. Being a Wes Anderson fan, I am pretty excited for this movie. Many of his past films have made me laugh and have always entertained with the dry humor that each film possesses. Like many of his films, it has a star-studded cast, which includes Edward Norton, Jude Law, Bill Murray, William Dafoe, Jeff Goldblum, Owen Wilson, and so many more amazing actors and actresses. I highly recommend seeing this film when it releases March 7th. And lastly, we have the trailer for Transcendence. The film stars Johnny Depp as a scientist who has made the world's most intelligent supercomputer containing every single bit of knowledge known throughout the world. One day after giving a presentation at a college, he is shot by a member of a conspiracy group. He is not killed instantly, but poison from the bullet starts to slowly kill him. Before his death, he is brought to his lab by his assistants, played by Kate Mara and Paul Bettany, where his final thoughts are uploaded into the supercomputer. Whether this is a good idea or a bad idea remains to be seen, though. It is a movie I'm unsure about, and the trailer made the movie look interesting, but trailers have been deceiving before. I am interested enough to see this movie when it is released in April, the April 18th, but whether or not it will be good is too soon to tell.
Thanks, Ryan. I hadn't heard of The Bagman or Transcendence before, but they both seem like interesting concepts.
And I'm always down to see a good Wes Anderson flick. Bill Murray, priceless. That's all I gotta say.
Well, that's not all we have to say. We've still got a forward-looking top 5 from Aidan Hall, an in-depth actor spotlight from Lydia Lucas, and more, all after the break, so stick around.
I'm glad we're back because I was starting to freak out with nothing to do during the break.
Why?
Because those trailers reminded me just how many awesome movies are coming out in 2014, and I don't know which ones to see.
Well, Connor, our next segment just might help you out with that. Aidan Hall's here with his top 5 movies to see this year. Count us down, Aidan.
Thanks, guys. With last year gone over the horizon, we are brought into a new age. An age of film, of drama, of action, of Mockingjays and Captain Americas. An age of new hope and unrequited love. A brand new age of film! And this hallowed age, this age for the generation shall be hailed as 2014. And as such, your lowly harbinger of this age and list maker of the greats has taken on this daunting task of coming up with the top 5 films I want to see this year. So grab your popcorn and your overpriced mega glug and enjoy the show. Number 5, Love is Strange. Perhaps my love of this film will be considered strange. Love is Strange stars Alfred Molina of Spider-Man 2 fame and John Lithgow, who most of you know as the Trinity Killer in Dexter. So how do these villains appear in this Sundance film? Why, they're a gay married couple that can't live together, and the film plays off their plight. Will their love come through? Well, I certainly hope to find out. Number 4, The Hobbit 3. Much like my fellow Real Dealsians, I too anticipate the epic conclusion to the Hobbit trilogy, to see what becomes of the beloved Bilbo and his daring, dashing dwarves, and their antics in the Middle-earth. While it may not come until the end of this new year, I know it'll be in the hearts of many a Hobbit fan for the months to come. Number 3, The Prototype. I think this might be a film that goes under a lot of people's radars. The Prototype tells the story of a dying scientist who places his mind in a robot body, becoming a cyborg, but the government quickly comes after him, declaring him a rogue robot. The film seems like it'll have quite the suspenseful edge to it, not to mention the trailer that came out last year seems to be incredibly impressive. Number 2, Guardians of the Galaxy. Probably the only superhero movie I'm excited for this year, and it's also probably the weirdest. Guardians of the Galaxy is a unique Marvel team to say the least, with such lovable characters as a talking raccoon, a talking tree, the daughter of a warlord, a space warrior, and of course, a space playboy. Now hopefully just because you put space in front of something means it's a work of beauty. It's a movie I can't take seriously, and honestly I don't want to take seriously. So when it comes out, I will be quite eager to see a raccoon shooting up the place. And at number 1, Godzilla. Now perhaps this will be my greatest disappointment of the year, after 1999's travesty of a Lord of the Lizards film. However, I am a man of hope, dear viewers, a man that believes Godzilla can be done right. And with stars like Bryan Cranston and Ken Watanabe, and a story that's shaping up to be amazing, I will hold on to my hope until the film drops on May 16th. And there you have it, dear viewers, your first list of the new year. So may your movie-going be merry and your TV-watching whimsical. I am Aidan Hall, new and improved and all for you. Back to you guys.
As always, another great list, Aidan. You can never tell what Hollywood is going to come up with next.
That may be so, but these days the chances are good that whatever film it is, it just might include the subject of this week's Actor Spotlight.
Actually, Aidan just listed one of them.
Yep. To tell you just who we're talking about, here's Lydia Lucas. Lydia?
I've been waiting about 3 years for my favorite actor to become a household name. He does a mean Alan Rickman impression, has sparked countless memes, been an ambassador for charity, taught English to Tibetan monks, and after all of this, he has his master's degree in classical acting to come home to. His name is Benedict Cumberbatch, and he has been described as the first actor in history to play Sherlock Holmes who has a name more ridiculous than Sherlock Holmes. The well-known television series Sherlock by creators Stephen Moffat and Mark Gatiss began in 2010 and is undoubtedly the catalyst that took Cumberbatch's immense talent and launched it into global attention. If you don't already know, the show is a modern adaptation of Arthur Conan Doyle's infamous Sherlock Holmes stories, a global sensation in and of themselves with one of the oldest fandoms in modern existence. 4 years and 3 series on, a good chunk of civilization has finally heard of this show, and in turn the name of its star. Sherlock may have been the job that launched him into stardom, but 2013 saw more roles for Cumberbatch than any other in his career. Last May, he hit the big screen as Khan in Star Trek Into Darkness, and more recently, he was the voice and motion capture for Smaug in The Hobbit. He also has roles in August Osage County and 12 Years a Slave. It's no wonder he's working his way up as a member of Hollywood's elite with that kind of exposure. But what you may not know is what the rest of his resume includes. Cumberbatch certainly started young, acting in school plays as a child, and with well-known British actors Wanda Ventham and Timothy Carlton as parents, it was almost a foregone conclusion. He went to the prestigious Harrow School on an art scholarship and painted large oil canvases. By the time he had finished his degrees at Manchester University and Lambda, he had an agent. In his early career, he played the son of Hugh Laurie in the British sitcom 40-something. You might recognize him from his first big Hollywood role as Paul Marshall in 2008's Best Picture winner Atonement. He also played opposite Scarlett Johansson in The Other Boleyn Girl. He had notable roles in many British films such as the independent feature Third Star, an Olivier-nominated performance on stage in Hedda Gabler, as well as countless other British miniseries and British period dramas, the quintessential roles for any young British actor. After the success of Sherlock in the UK, he began getting even bigger and better roles. In 2012, he and co-star Johnny Lee Miller won a joint Olivier Award for their portrayal of both Dr. Frankenstein and the Creature, roles which they swapped each night in Danny Boyle's 2011 stage production. In 2011, Cumberbatch also starred with Gary Oldman in the spy thriller Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy and played Major Stewart in War Horse. Who knows what the future will hold for Benedict Cumberbatch, but at the moment his trajectory is going ever upward. A confirmed future project is the biopic The Imitation Game, in which he plays Alan Turing, the father of modern computer science, who was prosecuted for homosexuality in 1952 and committed suicide in 1954. He will also be reprising his roles as Smaug and the Necromancer in the last installment of the Hobbit trilogy. If you're looking for more Benedict Cumberbatch wonderfulness, a more in-depth look at this segment will be up on our Real Deal website coming in February. This has been Actor Spotlight. I'm Lydia Lucas.
Thanks, Lydia. It's cool that Cumberbatch is quite the guy off-screen as well as on. He's really funny on social media, right, Kaylee?
Huh? What?
What are you doing?
Reading Benedict Cumberbatch memes.
Really? Can I see?
Yeah.
Ooh. While we look these over, we're going to take our last break, but make sure not to go too far, because Kaylee and I still have our final word just after this.
The handyman. We're going to hit the road and never look back.
Well, withdrawal in this quantity, this a little suspicious.
Morning, son. You want to tell me where you're going?
I came to save you, Adele.
That's all relationships are.
I love the way she laughs. I love the way we fit together in bed because we're the same height. Our crotches line up perfectly.
That's really good.
I love that.
I love that.
Yeah,
even.
man.
So run and tell her that.
All right, I'm doing it.
I'm doing it. Man, you're doing it. Dude. Which one of you?
So glad you stayed with us, because now's the time when Connor and I share our final word.
As we embark on a whole new year of entertainment media, Kaylee and I thought it would be nice to reflect just once more on our favorite media from last year. These are the shows that we enjoyed in 2013 and that we heartily recommend everyone to see.
Undoubtedly, the most entertaining television show I watched in 2013, though not the best by any means, was Netflix's original series, Hemlock Grove. The supernatural series is set in Hemlock Grove, Pennsylvania, a small town divided by the rich and the poor. The town's main source of employment is the Godfrey Institute, which conducts unorthodox and mostly unethical experiments. When a string of teenage girls are brutally killed, the town suspects Gypsy Peter Romanchek. To prove that he isn't the killer, Peter and his friend Roman Godfrey set out to solve the mystery. This basically sounds like a cookie-cutter CSI plot, right? Well, add a dose of werewolves, vampires, a cyborg Frankenstein, a Catholic werewolf hunter society, and a girl who believes she was impregnated by an angel, the show becomes a lot more complicated and super entertaining. Now, these werewolves and vampires aren't your average Twilight creatures. For example, Peter's transformation into a werewolf was one of the goriest scenes I've ever seen. His eyes fell out and he ate his shedded skin. Creepy. Also, the vampires in this show are actually called Upirs, which is a Russian vampire that is basically human but eats children. Even though the critics hated Hemlock Grove, Netflix announced that it was viewed by more members globally in the first weekend than House of Cards, which is another Netflix original series. Hemlock Grove is just a fun show to watch where you have absolutely no idea what's going on. Every episode has a new twist or surprise, which makes the show so captivating. I could not stop watching this show and finished it in less than 2 days. Season 2 of the show is expected to be released the following winter. Until then, if you're bored and looking for a crazy horror show to watch one weekend, I recommend Hemlock Grove.
You know, I'm not sure if I care for most of those supernatural dramas out there. They're just too overdone. But Hemlock Grove looks different enough that I may have to give it a try.
Yes, it's amazing. But how about you? What was big for you last year in entertainment?
Well, just as 2013 was a year replete with new beginnings, it had its fair share of endings as well. Pointedly for me, January 31st of 2013 marked the airing of the final episode of 30 Rock, the outstanding comedy series created by and starring Tina Fey. In case you've been trapped in the wilderness or something for the past half-decade, the series premiered in 2006 and follows the trials and triumphs of Fey as Liz Lemon, the head writer of a live comedy sketch show produced by NBC. Throughout the show's over 6-year run, she continuously had to juggle the happiness of narcissistic TV stars, needy co-writers, and a pompous boss played with critical acclaim by Alec Baldwin. Overall, the series earned 112 Emmy nominations and won 16, with the Writers Guild of America last year including it on their list of the best-written television series of all time. As a fun, quirky show about what goes into the making of the magic of television, 30 Rock was probably one of the most influential shows in my life. Despite all the troubles Liz Lemon went through to produce the weekly show within the show, it drew me into the world of television instead of repelling me. More than anything, it was inspiring, with the little voice in my head whispering, "I could do that," as I watched each episode. Really, 30 Rock is probably a big part of why I decided to pursue a telecommunications major, and why I'm also the head writer here at The Real Deal. Because who doesn't want to be like Tina Fey? So I still don't want to spoil the very touching conclusion, but suffice it to say that 30 Rock went out sprinting strong rather than running out of steam. And at least the series will live on in syndication, where you can find episodes airing on Comedy Central and the entire run available on Netflix.
And that wraps up our show for the week. Be sure to check out our Facebook and Twitter pages for updates on all things entertainment. I'm Kaylee Russell.
And I'm Connor Fack. We'll see you next week.
Both those are